7,500 RPMs. We are back. We are so back.
Oh no, service is overdue. My AMG E63 still needs service A. If only that was all it needed.
I can't believe we're finally making this video. My 2010 E63 AMG has been broken for over 2 years, but the wait is over. This thing is finally fixed, back and ripping. All 6.2 liters of hand-built German beauty are back. So how did we get here? What aha moment did I have that finally resulted in me figuring out the problem that has plagued this thing for the last 2 years and 5 or 6 videos at this point? I'm gonna explain all of that in this video. We might even get into some fun stuff as well. I got mods and everything else planned for this thing. But first, just in case you forgot, let's do a little recap.
I bought this car late summer of 2022 and immediately started making it my own. "20-inch wheels, blacked out window trim, repainted front bumper and blacked out grille, tinted windows. Before long, I had the ultimate E63 pre-facelift daily driver. Didn't take long before I dove into taking care of some of the common M156 issues like the cam adjusters, the updated head bolts, lifters, and all the other while you're in there stuff. After that, the car drove pretty good, which meant it was time for some mods. Started with some long tube headers and an off-road X-pipe and a tune from OE Tuning. Car ripped after that. And that's pretty much where I left it. The car was a perfect daily driver. It's quiet and comfortable when I wanted it to be, and loud and aggressive when I wanted it to be. That is until January of 2024 when I was driving to the airport and the car started misfiring. Got so bad to the point that I had to pull over and get it towed home. I thought it was just going to be a simple repair, just some O2 sensors that I'd done in the past. But unfortunately, misfire came right back, and that's really where this whole debacle started. I did everything from injectors, spark plugs, swapping components from bank to bank to see if I could replicate the issue, rebuilt the intake manifold, checked for cracks in the aluminum, even went as far as dropping the car off at Mercedes to see if they could diagnose it, which they were unable to do. And most of you guys probably know the rest of the story. I actually had the car sit for almost 10 months while I tried to figure out what to do. Came back, rebuilt the cam adjusters again, swapped the ECU, had the ECU tested, just hours and hours and hours of looking at data and trying to figure out what was going on. Eventually I said screw it and drove the car for a year with the cam solenoid unplugged. With the cam solenoid unplugged, the car would not misfire as it typically had. That is until late last year or early this year, I got some new tools and a little bit more motivation and decided to tackle this project head on. Figure out what this 1500 RPM misfire was once and for all. Compared cam and crank sensor data, looking for anything that was out of the ordinary. Replaced the cam sealing rings to see if it was related to some sort of oil control issue at the cam solenoids on bank 1. I even went as far as temporarily installing a replacement engine harness to rule out the harness.
There we go. Exact same thing.
And in the last video, we discovered what I thought was a smoking gun was that the cam bridge on bank 1 had excessive play, which I suspected was leading to oil control issues to those cams. So I got a new cam bridge, checked the clearance, made sure everything was to spec, put it all back together, and you guessed it, the car still misfired.
I cannot believe this. What is left that this could be? And that's pretty much where we ended it in the last video. I put my tail between my legs and said, you know what, I'm gonna do what I did last winter, which is unplug the cam solenoid, shut the hood, and put like 3,000 to 5,000 miles on this thing. It worked last winter. I was tired of looking at this thing and I just wanted to drive it again. I was tired of driving my truck every day. So real quick before I did that, I decided to tape up all the wires that I'd cut back the insulation, looking for shorts, looking for broken wires, looking for oil in the harness. Wanted to tape all that up, make it look factory again, just so that the wires were protected and so that the heat from the engine bay wouldn't get to them. So I did that, double checked the oil level, and then I remembered that I had bought a gas pedal on eBay for 45 bucks. It's a long shot on this car, but there have been cases in the past of the M156 going into limp mode with the gas pedal. My issue was a little bit different in that it was only, my misfires were only on bank one, but I figure for 45 bucks, if it fixes the problem, that's incredible. If it doesn't, I can just throw it right back on eBay and probably make a few bucks. So I grabbed that out of the box, put it in the car, cleared the codes, left the cam solenoid plugged in, and drove down the road. And in the past, usually the limp modes had triggered right away, but for some reason this time, things were a little different. I think I can confidently say that this is the first time this car has cruised at 2,000 RPM with all the sensors and solenoids plugged in 2 years. This is a spooky view. No, I don't really know what's going on. I don't believe it's fixed. I don't know what's going on, but I don't believe it's fixed.
But it seems it was. I drove the car to work every day for the next week, including some longer road trips to other destinations, and the car drove beautifully. No misfires at all. The only reason we had a check engine light at all was for a faulty rear O2 sensor. Mile after mile, the car drove perfectly with 0 misfires on bank one.
So how did we get here? Well, there's one of two possibilities. The unlikely one is that my random thought of replacing the gas pedal truly did fix the issue. I really don't think that holds a lot of weight because I don't know if it makes sense. The only thing I can think of is that there is 2 throttle bodies in the M156. And I would assume, and I bet if I took the intake manifold apart, we would think that one throttle body would feed one bank and the other one would feed the other bank, and they kind of go down the separate runners in the intake manifold. The only plausible explanation that I can think of for a gas pedal solving this issue is the signal going from the pedal for one of the throttle bodies, the one that goes to bank one, was somehow wrong or fluttering, letting in an inconsistent amount of air. I don't know. This is a completely spitballing right now. I have no idea. I think the more plausible thing that happened here is what we did in the last video. So checking the tolerance on and replacing that cam bridge cap solved our oil control issue, and therefore the cams are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. But I really don't know. For the past 2 years, I have been just revving this thing in park or neutral in my garage, trying to figure it out. So I don't know. Is it possible that driving it like reset the error codes and the computer finally stopped looking for them? I feel like only Mercedes and AMG knows the logic that's built into that Bosch engine control unit, but those codes are completely gone. I brought my scanner to show you guys that they're completely gone, but it's dead. I gotta charge it. But the only reason we have a check engine light right now is for rear O2 sensors, and I got 2 new ones of those at home. I always thought that the rear O2s were just checking the functionality of the catalytic converters, but there is some information online that would suggest that they do have some effect on fuel trims. I'm gonna replace both rear O2 sensors, see if we can get this thing to have 0 check engine lights. And then I think, just to rule out theory number 1, I'm going to reinstall my original gas pedal. And if the misfires come back, then that is a surefire way of proving that the gas pedal fixed this thing. If they don't come back, then we're leaning more towards what I did in the last video is what actually fixed this, and I just didn't drive it enough to see it. I don't know. So let's get back to the garage, get to work. Now, just so you guys can see with your own eyes, cam solenoid plugged in, car's running smooth. Now here's the part that we have not done on the channel in 2 years. We're about to rev this thing at 1500 to 2000 RPMs and get 0 misfires. And if it misfires right now, because we're on camera, see that body of water right there? It's going in it. God, I have PTSD just sitting here. The amount of times we've been sitting here, rev this thing to 1500 RPM, gotten misfires over the past 2 years trying to figure this out. Look at us now, boy. I don't know. See? No misfires. Looks like we lost both rear oxygen sensors. But no misfires. Nothing. You guys remember before with this problem, it was immediate. So, let's investigate a little further. Alright, so here is our cramped look at our O2 sensor setup. Here's our primary O2s at the bottom of the collectors. These are Bosch units. These were replaced at the beginning of this whole misfire fiasco. Oh, it looks like I need to tighten my drain plug crush washer. We'll do that. Anyways, so I've had these long tubes on this car, an X-pipe, for a long time now, basically since I bought it. And I originally just had plugs back here at these rear O2 sensors and just had the O2 sensors kind of zip tied up here. But I crudely made these extensions for these already cheap O2 sensors, rear O2 sensors, a few weeks ago just to see if it would do anything. And of course it didn't. But normally for the whole misfire debacle and most of my ownership of this car, the rear O2s have just been zip tied into the open air up here, which has been honestly totally fine. But I figured it's probably worthwhile just to get some real O2 sensors in the rear section here, even if they're really not doing anything in the tune. If nothing else, it keeps the check engine light off and keeps the computer happy. That's cool with me. So on the bench here, I've got some parts. These are, once again, some very cheap rear O2 sensors. These were $19 for both of them. I've got some higher quality ones on the way, but I just wanted these for the video, and I just wanted them to turn off the check engine light for now. And then I ordered some rear O2 extensions, and these are actually a Dodge part. So these are a Dodge O2 sensor extension. There's the part number if you guys need it, you M156 guys. So these are for your rear O2 sensors on the Mercedes so that we can hopefully cleanly install rear O2s with long tubes and X-pipe and get no check engine light. So that's that. And here is my original gas pedal that I replaced without you guys, that I'm, again, fairly certain is not related to our issue. But I think we're going to put it back in and see if the car misfires. So the replacement one that I put in there was 45 bucks shipped on eBay. I just lowballed some, the lowest priced one I could find and just figured if it doesn't work, we'll just put it right back on eBay. So if this one makes the car misfire, then, we know it's junk. If it doesn't, we know it's good, and then it can just go, my original one can go back on eBay for 80 bucks or whatever. But let's get these O2 sensors installed, swap the gas pedal, or actually, let's do one thing at a time here. Let's get the O2 sensors in, clear the codes, start the car up, make sure it's doing what we want. Then we'll swap the gas pedal and see if anything has changed. Work smarter, not harder. So there's our known good, original one. All right, original gas pedal installed. Let's see what happens here. Well, as cool of a thumbnail as I thought that would make, that I fixed my Mercedes that was broken for 2 years with a $40 gas pedal. Data don't lie. Gas pedal is back in, and this thing is not misfiring. Yet. So, more than likely, since that's out, what we did in the last video, replacing this cam bridge, or the frontmost cam bridge on this bank, is what fixed the issue. As to why when I did it, it didn't immediately fix it, I mean, you guys saw the video. We replaced the part, cleared the codes, got it up to temperature, and it did the exact same thing that it's been doing for 2 years. I swear to you that all I did off camera was try to prepare this thing to drive it for the rest of the winter, which was cleaning up the wiring sheathing, retaping the sheathing that I'd cut open to try and keep it protected, put the airbox, funnels back in. That's it. I didn't change anything else. And then the gas pedal, of course, which was just a fluke and obviously seems didn't do anything. So why didn't it fix it immediately? Is there some logic in the Bosch ECU that says, if you have misfires for this long, pull them out of thin air, make it have, I don't know. Maybe that part, there was still oil pressure working up to it and the clearance was still, I don't know, make it make sense, but it is fixed now. I've been driving this thing for 2 weeks, hundreds and hundreds of miles, including like long road trips on the highway, 80 miles an hour for an hour straight. This thing rips. It runs absolutely perfectly. I cannot even explain it. So even though it would have been really cool to, in the last video, be like, yes, look, it fixed it. The thing that I finally found fixed it. I guess the end result here is, yeah, it did fix it, but I don't know why it took another video. Maybe I gave up too quickly, got frustrated too quickly, and didn't give it a chance. We probably should have driven it down the road, but she's mint now. So I think right now I've had the M156 engine cover stored in the trunk along with some other stuff for 2 years, because I didn't think it made sense to put it on here if I was going to constantly be taking this stuff apart. The engine bay has not been cleaned or detailed in 2 years. I don't even know what other spare parts I have in the trunk there. So I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to clean up this engine bay, put on any extra parts we have that are supposed to go here, clean up the under tray, tighten that oil drain plug, zip tie up the O2 sensors, make sure everything's clear. And then I think I did this like last winter-ish, but I honestly can't remember. I think I'm going to reload my aftermarket tune for this thing, for the headers and the AFE filters and stuff like that from OE Tuning. So I got that little My Genius thing in the trunk. We can load that. And then maybe we'll take this thing for a drive, even though it's going to be dark out, and just make sure for sure that everything's 100% good. And then we'll see what's next. Get into those a little bit later. Man, it has been a long time, over 2 years since I've seen this engine bay looking this good, looking this complete. This engine cover makes all the difference. Of course, we painted the intake manifold Ford Dark Shadow Gray. Got a beautiful metallic to it. Almost looks like the, what's the special edition? The Black Series or whatever that came with the gray intake manifold, even though that finish is flat. This is a good looking engine bay right here. It's good to see it cleaned up again, looking complete. Even got those little nifty mass airflow sensor covers on there. So the engine bay is cleaned up and complete. Of course, underside, I got all the under trays back on, the O2 sensors zip tied and all the wiring neat, tightened up the drain plug. So I think we're good to go under there. So now the plan was to take this thing for a drive, but a snow squall has moved in. It's windy, it's cold, it's actually already late. So I think what the plan is I'm going to drive this thing to work again tomorrow, make sure 100% that the old gas pedal I put back in, that the misfires don't come back. That would be a crazy turn of events. And if all that goes well, I think we might move into the interior on this thing. Did a preliminary clean out of the trunk, and we'll get into this in a little bit, as well as what's in this box. Here is the intake plenum thing. Actually, I don't even know what you call this. Intake Y that I replaced in my hunt for the issue, potential vacuum leaks. Of course, this wasn't the problem. It does have a broken tab, but got a ton more parts we got to go through over here. But anyways, I got to shuffle some vehicles around, I think, tomorrow to get this thing where I want it, and more importantly, to get the Camaro where I want it for an upcoming project on that. So yeah, take this thing to work tomorrow. Catch you guys then. Can't believe I just did it. This bullet has been up on this whiteboard for 2 years. Might as well be etched in there. But I was fine. I think we are finally able to cross it off. My 2010 E63 AMG is no longer misfiring. As I said I would, I drove it to work and back today and stopped by the apparel place, picked up a fresh set of gray sweatshirts. So if you guys are looking to grab a hoodie, whether it's black or gray or a beanie or a long sleeve shirt or a t-shirt, I have everything in stock. So be sure to check that out, sullivan-co.com. More importantly, the Mercedes drove beautifully the whole time. 0 misfires, drove awesome, had a nice heated massage on the way to work today. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention while you guys were away between the last video, of course, got the snow tires on there, so she's ready for winter. It is absolutely appalling how dirty this thing is on the outside, but you know, she's a daily, and it is winter in New Hampshire. But I think that pretty much settles it. I'm now convinced that replacing that cam bridge and then ensuring that the tolerance was correct and matched the known good Bank 2 is what solved their issue. Why it didn't solve it immediately and it took driving the car to fix it, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But the misfire is gone. I'm so happy to be driving this thing. I put probably 500 miles on it since putting it back together at this point with today's trip to work, and it's great to be back. Sometimes these older cars can give you headaches, but when the original sticker price was $100,000 and you've got 600 horsepower on tap and a massaging seat on your ride to work, kind of makes it worth it. Kind of beats driving a Corolla sometimes. Anyways, there's nothing I can do or really want to do about the outside right now because the roads are still complete junk. The inside, however, you know, I like to keep my cars pretty clean. There's not like junk everywhere, but this thing has not seen a vacuum since 2023, I think at this point, probably November or December of 2023 before it broke. I've been in and out of this driver's seat, I don't know, 400 times trying to diagnose this issue. These are my winter floor mats, which are still in here from winter of 2024. These are actually C-Class floor mats out of my mother-in-law's old C-Class, my, you know, nice AMG floor mats I keep in the basement until spring. But this interior is, you know, hasn't been wiped down. Leather seats haven't been conditioned. Hasn't seen a vacuum. It's full of, this is the other gas pedal I brought in case I needed it today. Here's some, you know, OBD2 tools, the HP tuners cable, the Zentry cable. Got Graham's seat back here, which I just put back in. He's loving this thing. I mean, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah. Got one of the Mercedes Stars that fell off last winter. I guess that's broken, so I guess that's trash now. But I mean, not terrible in here, but I'd love to get this thing completely immaculate. Vacuum top to bottom, wipe down all the panels, condition the leather seats, just get it absolutely spotless in here. This is a 70,000 mile, you know, 15-year-old car at this point, but the interior is mint. Like this is where sports cars wear. There's no wear or damage anywhere in this interior, and it's been killing me having it dirty. Thankfully, getting this Mercedes interior cleaned up and vacuumed out is going to be a breeze thanks to the latest tool addition to the garage, my Giraffe Tools Grandstorm Retractable Vacuum. As soon as this vacuum showed up, I couldn't wait to get it installed, which is a breeze using the included brackets. Simply slide the vacuum onto the brackets, install the accessory mount, and you're good to go. My personal favorite feature is the Bluetooth on-off functionality built into the handle. Plus the hose reel is 30 feet long, allowing me to reach the complete other side of my garage. Look at this, I can touch my Grand Falls pressure washer on the completely opposite side of my 4-bay garage. I probably didn't even have to move the Mercedes over. Now, it's gonna reel itself up. Getting hard to reach corners with the small attachment is a breeze, and the power of the vacuum effortlessly gets the corner immaculate. Same goes for dirty floor mats. Just use the brush attachment, and this filthy floor mat is like brand new. And I could even use it to vacuum up some snow that I tracked in on the rug. Emptying the dust container is a breeze. Just unclip it, dump out the contaminants, clip it back in on both sides, and you're good to go. So if you guys are looking for a vacuum for the garage, look no further than the Giraffe Tools Grandstorm retractable unit. You're gonna love the 30-foot hose, you're gonna love the Bluetooth on the wand, you're gonna love the power. So check them out, link is gonna be in the description. Now, let's tackle the interior of this thing.
Divine, I'm feeling the vibes. I feel like it's more than just a feeling, what we could define. Let's break through the ceiling, see what limits that we could defy. Cause I could do anything I want, it's for me to decide. Bring you up to speed, take the wheel, let you drive. It's alright on a dark road, let the fire in us be the light. Day and night, yeah, we
There she is, finally cleaned up. Seats conditioned, panels wiped down, extensive vacuuming. Looking real good. Got a little bit of a mark from Graham's old car seat. I'm gonna have to like steam and condition that, but I'm sure that'll come out after a while. But slick in here. Got to be more careful over here. The cardboard box I had in the front seat scuffed the wood grain up here a little bit, and I was able to buff most of it out with a quick pass, but could use a little bit more. But over here is looking real good, but I guess I got to be more cognizant of that. I probably should have taken my truck yesterday, but hey, she's a daily, right? This thing is in full winter mode. Don't worry, now that this thing is running right, as soon as the roads clean up, I'm going to prioritize a paint correction. I've been wanting to do it since I bought this thing over 3 years ago now. We'll get there. For right now, a couple videos ago, I tried to do a burnout in this thing and the car would not do it. So I think we might need to try and redeem ourselves. And also, I haven't done one of those race start, whatever, you know, Mercedes calls it in this thing, aka launch control, so let's try that too. It's not like snow tires are expensive and super soft and wear down easily, so, you know, why not? Oh man. Cross that off the bucket list. Doing burnouts on snow tires. Seems just terribly financially irresponsible, but worth it. She's fixed. Had it in manual mode and was so excited that it was doing a burnout that I forgot to shift to second, but that's okay. You know, we do need these snow tires, so. Race start sounded good too. I haven't done one of those in over 2 years. Go figure. I was not expecting that. Get a little higher speed, roll into it. All the way to 7,500 RPMs. We are back. We are so back. You know, a lot of you guys through this whole debacle were like, why don't you sell it? Just give up. I'm absolutely blinded by the sun right now. But if you've never owned an M156, you might never understand. I've owned a lot of cars. I've driven a lot of cars. This one, for some reason, is special to me. I've owned a lot of cars that sound really good, and none of them sound... This might be the best sounding one ever. Like, C8 Z06 might top that. The twin turbo C6, I don't know. It just has such a unique bark to it. Like, it revs faster than anything I own. Comes back to idle, it's like a whop, whop. It's just so aggressive. The exhaust note is like a 10 out of 10. For being a big car, it's really fast. I mean, this car from the factory was like, what? The E-Class W212 M156, 530 horsepower, I think, or something like that. I've got long tubes, X-pipe, filters, and a tune, so we're probably knocking on 600 horsepower in a car that can give you a heated massage. You know, that's 15 years old now, too. That's really not bad. So all that being said is why I didn't want to let this car go. I don't think there's a much better daily that you can get for under 30 grand, at least if you're looking for a fast V8 German sedan. I don't have a lot of miles on the E39 M5 yet, but right off the bat, I already know the interior of this car is better. It is a few years newer, I'll give it that. But even if we compared that to the, similar generation E63 AMG, I think I would take the E55 interior over the E39. But irregardless, this car is sick. That's why I didn't give up on it. Well, the other reason is I'm just stubborn as all hell. So I wasn't gonna give up on it, but it also was because I really do like this car. It is just an awesome daily driver. Even driving it for a year with the cam solenoid unplugged was great, but I am so happy this thing is back. Now, the only bummer is that there is 2 feet of snow on the ground and we can't get any traction on snow tires, and the car looks absolutely terrible because there's salt all over it, unfortunately. But I guess that just means I have time to plan mods. But right now, let's get back to the garage, go over some of the parts I do have, some of the plans for the future, and I might have one more trick up my sleeve, so let's do that. And here is the parts pile in the corner of the garage workbench that has been here for 2 years. How many times have I said 2 years in this video? Take a shot every time I say 2 years. Anyways, here are some of the extras from trying to solve this problem, dating way back to when I first filled up the catch can in the middle of winter. This is a 6.3 Motorsports catch can. Again, huge shout out to Jan and 6.3 Motorsports. He was very helpful in trying to help me figure this out, and they make a great product, great products for the M156 and M159 group. My car's got a bunch of their parts now. So I took that off and put a brand new PCV valve in, just to be sure it wasn't a PCV valve or a vacuum leak or something. Of course it wasn't. And for right now, I think I'm gonna leave the catch can off because in the winter and the short commutes that I do, it fills up really, really fast. So as soon as the weather's a little bit warmer and I'm not gonna have to worry about the catch can freezing, if there's water in there, ice, then I'll put it back on. So we'll do that in the spring, along with a bunch of other stuff. Extra cam adjusters that I'd swapped the guts a bunch of times in previous videos, all the cam bridges from the most recent video, including my original broken one. Here are my original spark plugs. Well, not original, but the plugs that came with the car. Original Bosch injectors. Here's that extra cam solenoid cover that I purchased. Also not the problem. Here is the original magnesium. Original magnesium throttle body plate. These are really common that they crack and cause misfires, but of course mine was in perfect shape, which was disappointing when I was looking for a smoking gun. Here's a fuel filter that I bought for the car because it was like $6, but turns out the fuel filter on the M156, or at least on the W212 M156, is not really replaceable, so I don't really know. It's like a whole fuel bucket thing. Extra camshaft adjuster, diamond washer. I think this is a map sensor. Again, original Bosch part, but I replaced it because I think it was like $12 on Rock Auto, so I was getting desperate. Cam position sensors. Here's my paperwork from Mercedes where they did the diagnosis on the car and recommended that I replace all 4 cam adjusters. Charged me $1,100 for the diagnosis and quoted me, I think, $4,500 to do all 4 cam adjusters, which of course would not have fixed the issue, so that was a waste. What do we got in here? Oh yeah, these are my original Bosch O2 sensors, which even though they look bad, they're probably still good, so I guess we'll hang on to those for now. But yeah, excited to get this corner of the garage cleaned up again. So here's the problem. I've obviously been neglecting the cosmetics of this car, but since I've fixed it, I've been all excited to get back into all the things that I wanted to do, like the paint correction. And I noticed, and I've noticed this actually when I bought the car, but it's gotten a lot worse in the last 2 years, is these headlight lenses have seen better days. Not only do they have a lot of rock chips from over the years, there's just like micro cracking in the lens there. We saw a similar thing on the Marauder. You see a lot of this in cars that, you know, just sit in the sun for a while. And, you know, other than when this car has been being worked on, this car sits outside basically 365 days a year. So I'd like to do something about these headlight lenses. Which, if these lenses were sealed with butyl, like a lot of headlights are, it'd be no big deal. You guys have seen me build headlights a bunch on the channel. Been building headlights, I say building headlights, taking them apart, painting them, adding projectors here and there. Did the Lightning about 1.5 years ago. The headlights are sealed with butyl, easy, no big deal. Comes apart like butter. The problem is, these W212 headlights, at least the pre-facelift ones, they're made by Hella. They're put together with what's called permaseal, or some people call it cold glue. And it's basically impossible to get off. Of course it is, because I did it, and lots of guys do it, but it is so much harder than butyl. This took, I think, 220 degrees in the oven, which is a lot hotter than I'd like to do. Starts deforming the housing at that point, and when you're trying to get the lens off, you end up just really mangling the edges here. But it is possible, but I think it took 4 tries in the oven. You know, take it out of the oven at 220 after 20 minutes in there, pry a little bit, put it back in, pry a little bit, put it back in. So it's a whole thing. Anyways, the reason that I got A spare headlight is, this one was obviously in an accident. Sold as is on eBay. The little lens thing is in there all loose. These headlights right here, so these are the obviously Xenon W212 headlights. Not only that, but because it's an E63, they have the active cornering. So when I turn the wheel, the headlights kind of turn the corner with me, and you know, auto leveling and stuff like that. They do a whole when you start the car. These headlights used in good shape on eBay are like up to $600 or more. So I'd like to replace those lenses, but I didn't just want to dive in and automatically destroy a $600 headlight. I knew that Permaseal could be tough. So I bought this one to try. It was 85 bucks, and I figured not only could I see how hard it is to take apart, we also could play with maybe painting some stuff. This one is not, this one is not an E63 headlight, and you can tell because of this bezel in here is chrome. The E63s only came with a gray. They painted it like a dark or a kind of a metallic gray, like a flat gray in there. So that's really the only difference. So I knew that this is basically the exact same headlight that's in this car, just with the chrome bezel. So I figured I can see how hard it is to take this thing apart. Maybe we can paint some stuff, see if I even like the blacked out look, because I really do like the OEM look. There's a good chance I just leave the headlight housing as is with the gray. It does look really clean, but who knows? Maybe it'd look cool if we just painted this little ring black and left everything else gray, or maybe we paint all this black and leave this chrome. I mean, the options are pretty much endless. But yeah, I've got a couple of my headlight tools here and some cold glue tools, but this was hard, and the hard work is not even done yet. Because once you get the lens separated, now you need to remove all of this stuff, all this cold glue, this Permaseal, to make room for a new sealant that you could put in, so that you can put your new lens, which I got on eBay for 50 bucks, back on. So I got two new lenses here that are ready to go on those headlights. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys are taking apart a W212 headlight lens and have any tips for separating Permaseal glue, what temperature do you use in the oven, how long do you use it? Do any of you guys use that stuff that's supposed to weaken the Permaseal? Any other tips, let me know. And let me know what you guys think about maybe painting a set of headlight lenses, or housings for this car rather. Well, I couldn't stand to see it as dirty as it was anymore, so Graham and I had to take it through the touchless this morning. He slept through the whole thing. Of course, you know, had to go through a couple puddles on the way home, so it was basically a waste of money, but it's a little bit better, and now I feel better that, you know, most of the salt is rinsed off. Re-motivated me to keep going on this thing. Speaking of keep going, we already talked about the headlights. I've also been eyeing, apparently you can buy, these are the 360 millimeter front discs, the factory brakes on this car, which are pretty large as is. I think you can get some spacers for the caliper and run a 390 millimeter OEM Brembo rotor. So absolutely massive brake upgrade for this car. That would be sweet. The paint correction is going to be so satisfying. This thing desperately needs it, and it is such a clean, you know, no dents, very straight looking car. It's really, really going to look good. Also, over the summer, I bent both of my front wheels. I hit one of those, you know, they tore up the pavement and left like 3 inches and just said, yep, that's good. Which in a lot of cases wouldn't be a big deal because they were like $180 a piece back when I bought them. But the problem is they're discontinued. Can't find them anywhere. And I've talked to a local rim repair shop that says they can't straighten them because the damage is on the front side of the wheel. It's like a completely flat spot on the front of the wheel. So if anybody knows any wheel repair shops in the southern New Hampshire or southern Maine area that could handle something like that, let me know. Otherwise, I might be on the hunt for some new summer wheels. The OEM 19-inch wheels that were an option on this car would be nice, but they're hard to find, and when you do find them, they are big money. But that's it, guys. 2 years of trying to figure out this misfire. I think we finally got it licked. The car's running awesome. Thank you guys for sticking with me through this whole debacle, this whole self-inflicted debacle, apparently replacing that cam bridge with one and not checking the tolerance caused all of this. Self-inflicted, right here. My bad, but we got through it. This thing's back and I'm fired up about it. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching. Leave the video a thumbs up. Can't wait to read all your comments down below. Catch you in the next one.